everybody. Welcome in on a beautiful Monday evening here on the Texans Collective. It's beautiful because the Texans won on Sunday to even their record at 5-5, something we've been anticipating for the last several weeks. If they can just get to 5-5 and get to that home stretch, then things will get very exciting. So here we are at 5-5. The Texans beat the Titans 16-13 on a last-second field goal by Matthew Wright. And we're here to talk about that and look ahead to the Buffalo Bills on a Thursday night tonight. This is exciting because we've got a game coming up in just a couple days here on the Texans Collective. So let's get it going. I'm Sean Pendergast, one half of Payne and Pendergast on Sports Radio 610, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. To my right is Landry Locker, of course, of The Locker Room with Landry Locker and SNL. Beneath him right there is Reggie Atatula in the Loop, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sports Radio 610. And we round it out with Cody Stutes, Houston Football with Cody Stutes, and SNL with Landry as well. Gentlemen, another week where we've got a game we went into all week long saying it's a must-win game for the Houston Texans to keep the season alive, and they made this a whole lot more exciting than they needed to be. They survived the Tennessee Titans. It was close. They got the job done, and now here we are with the Bills coming up. So let's dig into this Titans game here. Here's my question. Was there a point in this game where you guys really felt strongly the Texans were going to lose this game and fall to 4-6?
I would say there was a 4-second point where Cam Ward misses a wide open touchdown that could have made it 10-0, but it was very brief. As soon as I saw that, I realized these are the Tennessee Titans. So I never really felt that the Texans were going to lose this game. I do think there were some frustrating moments. I actually don't think that's a bad thing. I anticipated this being a trap game. I anticipated this being pretty ugly. I actually think it's a teachable win, which is what I call when, a coach is going to have his team's full attention. Kamari Lassiter today in the locker room said, "I'm not talking about anything good that happened yesterday. I'm only talking about the bad things." He said that's what we're focused on. Whether it was the long play that he gave up or anything like that, he said that's the mindset we have right now. So I look at this as it wasn't pretty, but I never really thought that they were going to lose this game. I did think there was a possibility they might have to go to overtime and take it, though, there at the end.
Yeah, I think that maybe the brief moment, and I think it's the obvious one, when you get to 3rd and 16 on that final drive and you're like, oof, they got 2 timeouts. They have the opportunity to go and do something. But obviously you then end up converting that. So, yeah, probably in that place. But there was a frustration that this game was ugly in the way that it was because they just seemed to make everything so damn difficult as a team. And I hear you, Landry, on the idea of a teachable moment. At what point is this team supposed to be taught? And look, you got an entirety of the season. You want to use all of it, especially if you're a coach like D'Amico Ryans that constantly wants to try and impart your message upon the team. But at some point, especially against the lowly Titans, I would imagine you'd be more taught than you are in this moment. That's the thing that's frustrating for me. But again, you're in this point. You are where you are. Got the win. Got to 500. That's what I will think about more often than not. But yeah, I was deeply frustrated by this one.
I definitely thought overtime was happening when it was 3rd and 16, and then Davis Mills, with a beauty of a throw, one of the best throws all season, extends that drive, and they ultimately get in field goal range. So, but again, I never, even 6-0, even if that thing had gone to 10-0, I didn't feel like the Texans were going to lose this one, especially after watching Cam Ward, as Chris Myers did about
poor
500
Chris Myers.
times.
He was just trying to wish it into existence. He was like, let me see some Cam Newton at least.
No, poor Chris Myers. Poor us for having to listen to Chris Myers. Okay.
Cam Ward's not even New England Cam Newton, by the way.
Yeah, Cam Ward doesn't run, and they're like, he should run. It's like he has 46 rushing yards before this game, you idiots. Oh, man. But yeah, I thought overtime was a possibility, but hey, it was closer than it needed to be. But we threw style points with this team out the window months ago. Like style points are out the window now with the Houston Texans. Just survive and advance, and that's what they did.
There were 2 points in the game where I got nervous, and one was really early and one was really late. And the early one was when I felt like D'Amico was game managing this game away from the Texans. I was not a fan, Cody, as you know, I texted you about it, when they took the ball after the coin toss. I'm like, that's just a bad decision right there, just based on the percentages. That was a small thing. But then when they challenged the Christian Kirk incompletion in the end zone, which was obvious to anybody that had a television that it was incomplete. You saw the ball roll away. That's where I do this thing now, guys, where in the Pender notes on the other page, I keep track of big mistakes in the game where I just put them on the other page. And then Seth and I do this exercise every week where we put the big mistakes into buckets, which are fireable, egregious, and just merely annoying. And I had 5 fireable or egregious in the first quarter of this game when it came to either execution or decisions made by D'Amico Ryans. So I was nervous in the fourth quarter that they were just fucking this thing up royally. So there was that. And then at the end of the game, when they scored the touchdown, I don't know how you guys felt. I was really surprised that the Tennessee Titans kicked the extra point and didn't go for 2. That's where I got nervous. Like, oh, this feels like one of those things. Like they hit that deep shot to Okonkwo to get the ball inside the 10. They get the relatively easy touchdown to Van Jefferson there. And then all they need to do is dial up one more play to take the lead in that game. And then there's a different kind of game pressure on the Texans trying to go get the game-winning field goal than if you're tied at 13. So those were the two early in the game. Early in the game, I maybe wasn't necessarily nervous they were going to lose, but I was nervous that it was going to be one of those kind of days. And it ended up being one of those kind of days. But when they scored the touchdown to ultimately tie it, I was so relieved that they were kicking an extra point at that point. I don't know how you guys felt. When I saw them lining up for the extra point, I was super relieved that, like, okay, we're going to be tied. We're going to get a shot here. And then theoretically, if they don't kick a game-winning field goal, this thing's going to go to overtime. And in overtime, more often than not, the better team, especially when you get the ball, when each team gets the ball now in overtime, the better team's going to win the game. But boy, when they didn't go for 2, I was really relieved at that point.
See, for me, and hopefully the city so was in the fireable section of your Pender notes, that whole experiment, because that's really one. I haven't called for anyone to get fired this year at all, but I really think whatever assholes are helping D'Amico Ryans with challenges, they need to be gone. Like, and they need to lose their role. I'm serious, because it's not D'Amico's on the other side of the field. There's a lot going on, and it's a process, and D'Amico oversees the process and all that. So some coaches, they win challenges. There's a lot of guys that are helping you when it comes to that. Whoever these assholes are who are helping him with the challenges, they need to be fired. He's 2-7 on challenges. And this one made no sense. The ball was rolling on the ground. We know what he even said today. He said, yeah, I really didn't see it. The guys who saw it told me to do it. Whoever those guys are, they need to be gone. They need to be gone. And you can give me an earpiece. I'll do it. I'll sit on the couch. I'll sit in the press box. I'll help you out better than whatever these idiots are doing. I'll help you out. So those are the first 2 guys, whatever. Whoever is in charge of helping D'Amico Ryans challenge, get their ass out of there, pack their stuff. If it's someone who does something else, relieve them of these duties and make them take some sort of pay cut, because whoever's in charge of that process is dumb. I also did not like going for it. Just kick the field goal. And I'm pro kick field goal from here on out with this team. I actually supported it on the 4th and 1 too when they kicked the field goal, but that just kind of is what it is. The reality is, if Christian Kirk catches that football, by the way, he stinks too.
He sucks.
If he catches, he had 2 plays on the opening drive. One of them, he has a linebacker running stride for stride with him in the middle of the field, and he's got to make that play. But whoever's helping D'Amico, they got to be gone.
I'm right there with you, and it's been one of those things that have been quiet. It's been quietly simmering, and I've been like, is everybody else seeing this? And I feel like we all have, right? But the game management has been an issue for him. And I'm not here to be like, this is innate to him. However, if it is innate to D'Amico Ryans, you got to have some level of support, right? Even Andy Reid at some point realized, hey, this clock management is not my get down. Let me get somebody to supplement that. That's part of being a head coach. That's part of being a boss, is finding your weaknesses and supplementing them with people that can get you there. And D'Amico's explicitly saying that in the availability today, basically putting it right at their feet. I think that he's been looking around at his staff all season long, and I think that he is mentally creating notes as to what needs to change to some degree.
I will say this, Reg, my bad. I will say this. I do think at the end of the game, because I want to give him credit, I just don't want to focus on I want to give some positive. I do think at the end of the game, they did a good job using the timeout when Tennessee got inside the 10, because I was worried that he wasn't, and he was going to let the clock tick, and then they really might go for 2. But I think maybe it became a little bit more difficult for them to go for 2, because I want to say it was 145, 150, whatever. He did call his first time out before Tennessee scored. So I will give him credit there. But I was sitting there thinking, man, surely he's not going to let this go down to 50 seconds and just put it all on the defense.
I appreciate the attempt to be positive here, but I feel like this very clearly leans more negative when we talk about the larger scheme of game management things. And the reason why that is uniquely absurd to me is that this is a team, at least this year in particular, but I think over the entirety of his tenure, where the coaching portion of this could be a huge swing for them, right? They get to portions where you're going to face off against teams that might be more talented than you up to this point. That are going to have more experience coaching wise to you than you. And I feel like you need to be able to bring like at least game management is something that could be a plus in your side. And it has constantly been either at best a neutral, but more often than not a negative for this team.
Another thing that they do horribly, and it's very annoying because there's no rhyme or reason or rhythm to it. If they were just bad at it all the time, it'd be easier to understand, is how they operate at the end of first halves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching somebody drive a standard for the first time. Like, oh, they finally got it in gear. Nope, actually, they don't know how to shift gears. Oh, they don't know where the clutch is. Like, sometimes they want to go, sometimes they don't want to go. Like San Francisco, they're overly aggressive when they shouldn't have been aggressive, and they almost cost themselves and gave up some points. In this one, they run a lollygag, lazy-ass run that gets crushed, and then they just take their time getting to the line of scrimmage. And then Davis Mills rips an interception, and you're like, okay, well, are you trying to do it? Are you trying not to? And then Mills tries to, he tries to do his best Cam Newton impression. I'm sure Chris Myers was loving that. He tries to do his best Cam Newton, and he runs out of bounds.
Just crossing multiple lanes of traffic to get at Chris Myers there.
And it's like
just what is happening here, man?
What is going on here?
And it's just like their end of half operation and when they decide to go and not go. And then the Titans were terrible too, but they're a bad team, so you expect it. But the Texans don't know what to do at the end of halves. They never know when to press the gas or when to just kind of take it into the half. And then once they finally get the ball back and it's going to halftime, they ran a play.
Yeah.
Their grasp of half, even going back, and this is something that I talked about with y'all on here, because you make the note, Sean, like their grasp of when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive at the end of the first half is insane. Like
it's random.
San Francisco, they nearly pissed away 3 points.
Yeah.
They pissed away 3 points later on. And then with Tennessee, it feels like with like a minute and a half left, it's a decent time to maybe try, but they run the ball and then they take 30 seconds between plays and it's like they have no interest of it. And then Tennessee just does their goofy thing. Yeah, that the feel of when to be aggressive and when not to at the end of the first half is interesting. And I will say this. Bobby Slowick was actually pretty good at stealing points at the end of halves. That was one of his. I don't know that he had too many superpowers, but I will say Bobby Slowick at the end of the second quarter was very good at stealing points, even amidst some of his worst. Now they might not score another point after, and that is, but he was good at stealing points at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah. Well, coach, a lot of coaches, you hear coaches talk about the middle eight now, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half, and DeMeco Ryans just hasn't been good in those areas. This was the both coaches in this game. It was like, in terms of game management, it was like, it was like watching one of like the Nature Channel, like watching two hippos humping each other or whatever. Like it was really gross to watch. And I'm talking about, we laid out DeMeco, but I even thought at the end of the game here, and Reggie knows this because he was sitting right next to me while this was going on. I don't know what the hell Mike McCoy was doing at the end of the game, where he had all 3 timeouts left, and he decides to start using them with like 25 seconds left in the game. Like where even if you use all 3 of them there, best case, you're getting the ball back deep in your own territory with like 5 seconds left. Bro, start using them with like a minute left. All he was doing by using them with 30 seconds left was allowing the Texans to run 2 or 3 more plays, which got the ball closer, the line of scrimmage closer for the final field goal. Like if he just laid off the timeouts, because the Texans were, I think they maybe had 1 timeout or no timeouts. If he just laid off the timeouts, then the Texans were eventually going to have to just clock it and kick a field goal from like mid 40-yard or like 50-yard range. He starts calling timeouts with less than 30 seconds left, multiple.
It is
so the Texans are like, all right, we got to run a play, hand it off to, and now here we got the only plays from Woody Marks the entire game where he's gaining yards.
Yeah, that's a great point.
At the end of the game, those plays. Like
Mike McCoy's an interim who hasn't been a head coach for a decade. What's the
9 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards. Like they're just like Woody Marks hasn't done shit the entire game. Now they're burning all their timeouts, and Woody Marks in a game where the Texans have an interim kicker in Matthew Wright, who boinked a 31-yard field goal off the uprights.
Never happened. I told Cody, hey, Men in Black, that never happened, Sean. Look at the box score, brother. I don't know what
I saw it. I know it's not in the goddamn box score, but I saw it.
Perfect field goal yesterday. Never
that. He boinked a 31-yarder off the upright, and they're letting this motherfucker go from a 50-yard field goal down to a 41-yard field goal because Mike McCoy feels the need to start burning timeouts.
I think you'll like this reference, John. You know what that Woody Marks run felt like? And I told Cody, this is identical to 2023 when the Texans were in Cincinnati. Noah Brown catches a pass.
Yeah.
Okay, but then he gets an extra 12 yards to get closer for Matt Amendola. And it's like, thank God this reserve kicker is getting closer. That's what the Woody Marks run felt like. It was like, okay, we're going to have a 5 in front of it. There you go. Felt exactly like when Noah got those extra yards.
Dude, it's wild. That's funny you bring that up. I was thinking about that this morning, Landry. Like the parallels between 2025, like this little part of the schedule, and 2023, because absolutely, you had the backup, Kaimi out with whatever injury kicker game against Cincinnati in week 10, and then you had the road game in Tennessee, which was a last second at the end of overtime field goal, and then this one felt very similar, end of regulation, not the end of overtime, but still zeros left on the clock afterwards. It's really interesting, kind of the parallels between 2 years ago and this year when it comes to everything that's been kind of heaped on the Texans in the last few weeks.
Yep, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah,
with it. And I'm glad they got the dub. I will say this though, like with all this talk about Tennessee, I do like. It didn't necessarily like surprise me how it looked. But I am relatively surprised how I feel about Buffalo as compared to how I thought I would feel about Buffalo even 3 weeks ago. So that's the good news. You look at the line opens at 3.5. You look at Buffalo, they tried to make 2 trades on each side of the ball with division opponents. They tried to trade for Quentin Williams. They tried to trade for Waddle. They got their ass whooped by Miami.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was a super freak yesterday. I do think that's a little bit concerning. But they do seem a little bit vulnerable. They got receivers missing meetings. Like they're Buffalo the game does feel, I don't want to sit here and say I'm not picking the Texans to beat the Bills. I just can't, I can't bring myself to do that. But I do feel a little bit differently about this game because it is a short week, because they are at home. I think that's the biggest advantage you can have. I do feel much different about this game than I anticipated I would from when the schedule came out to even as recent as like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Hey, real quick, just to jump in the chat here, and if you're on here, feel free to jump in the chat and give us comments. This is from James. Still think they use a magic 8 ball for all of their decisions.
I feel like a magic 8 ball would be more consistent in having an MO. Like it really does feel like there is an entirely random nature of going about this, and that's what is deeply annoying. Is that I feel like you should have a general philosophy. Like I've always said, when it comes to coaching decisions, I'm a lot more laissez-faire. If you can get out and give me an explanation, I can usually rock with it, right?
Yeah.
And I know that some people would be like, no, I think that there's a right thing to do. If you can give me a reasoning as to why you decide to make this and it's somewhat coherent and consistent, I can hear you out. I would love to hear what D'Amico's game planning and decision-making matrix is on a number of things, because it feels like they are not consistent. Which, if like even if you get to any level of statistics, if you're not consistent with the inputs, we can't even expect any kind of outputs per se. So like, that's the thing that is very, very frustrating. A magic 8 ball feels like it'd be more consistent.
We just disrespect. Reggie's like, y'all just disrespected the magic 8 ball, man. What the fuck?
I might not have used that magic 8 ball in my life. Maybe that's the reason why I said that.
Oh, dude. As by far the oldest one on this here stream, the magic 8 ball was a go-to birthday present back in the day.
Was it?
I'm telling you right now. Yeah. We had no electronics, man. Like the magic 8 ball was all you had to go to.
I know what I'm
Signs
getting.
Point to yes. Oh, thank you. Okay.
I know what I'm getting Reggie for Texans Collective Secret Santa now.
Yankee swap.
And it'll be right here over my shoulder. It'll be right there. That's what it'll be.
Yes. The Ouija board and the Magic 8-ball. Fuck.
Nah, I don't play with that
video
devilry.
games.
Don't bring that Ouija board over here.
All right. So in this game against the Titans on Sunday, another slow start by the offense, and I don't want to harp on the coin toss decision because I feel like I'm the only one who's pissed off about them taking the ball to start the game. But I'm like, you took the ball to put an offense on the field that got shut out by the Tennessee Titans in the first half. When you have
got to establish a tone.
Defense.
Got to establish a tone.
Sidelines, sitting right over there. You got the best defense. But how concerned are we about the slow starts on offense, where it does seem like they run a lot of plays? I will give them that. They will run 13 plays. They might not score, but they will run 13 plays for 36 yards up your ass like it's nobody's business, okay?
I'm concerned about this offense anytime. Like I'm concerned about this offense in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So I mean, to answer your question, yeah, very concerned about the offense. I also think that, let's just be real. They're kind of being graded on a curve right now. I'm actually as worried about the defense as I am the offense. And some might say, well, how can you be? Because I think they're going to have to do more. Like, just put the quarterbacks that the Texans have beaten next to the quarterbacks that they haven't beaten. And it's really kind of all that you need to see. They've beaten Cam Ward twice. They beat Mac Jones. They beat Cooper Rush, and they beat Trevor Lawrence. They've lost to Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. And you could go down the list. So Matt Stafford. So I'm actually a little bit concerned about both areas when it comes to offense and defense, because I feel like the defense is going to have to do even more with the matchups that they have down the stretch. But yeah, the offense, you can't feel good about it.
Yeah, the thing I will say is that them being able to string plays together and finding ways at times to answer tough problems. Like I can give them. Actually, you're right. This is all graded on a curve. Like, I have to acknowledge that up front. Like, I have appreciated Dalton Schultz being the third and manageable maker, where they're like, oh, it's 2nd and 13. Well, we know exactly what play is coming, right? Or at least what route is coming from Dalton Schultz. He's going to sit down in the middle of that zone. He's going to catch a football, and here we go. Now it's 3rd and 5. And maybe we can make something shake, right? Like that is very clearly something that happens. But I can appreciate that, right? Hook or by crook. And it feels like there's a lot of hook and crook happening for them to keep these drives going. That's fine considering what's happening. I think you're right, Landry, when it comes to this defense. It's one of those things that I was sitting and thinking about, and I was like, how much am I nitpicking what's happening on that side of the football? But there's a lot of bend don't break in their get down up until they get later in games, and I'm trying to figure out how much I need to harp on that, because like there's something to be said for, I mean, you can't have your guys go balls to the wall for the entirety of the game. Like, I think there's something to be said for, just being very meticulous in the way you go about things, and then tighten up the screws when you really need it. But also, again, you kind of always need it when you got that offense on the other side of you. And the Cam Ward had a lot of opportunities to make plays that he just missed, right? Are we anticipating that, that Josh Allen is not going to make those plays in the same way that he didn't make those plays last year? Or is there a dude who just scored 6 touchdowns that might overturn that apple cart? Yeah,
they have so many performances where the only team they were beating in the NFL was the team they beat that day. Like, they did that against Tennessee the first time. They did that against San Fran. Like, I don't know if they're really replicating that San Fran game against everybody, though they shut down 2 of San Fran's best offensive players. And then yesterday, you're scoreless in the first half. None of us really feel like they're going to lose the football game. Oh, Tennessee's up 6-0. And then, boom, 7-0. Ultimately, you get 10 points in the third, then you get enough there to wrap it up and finish it up as the game goes on. It's like, okay, great. Like, you had enough to beat the Titans on that day. Like, take those very few things that worked on offense, which was, feeding Nico Collins, using Jaden Higgins in some key spots, and Dalton Schultz. Make sure you carry those over. You've got to figure out in the few days. I know it's Jeffrey Simmons and I know it's Tavondre Sweat, but you got to figure out how to run the football. Buffalo can't stop the run. You've got to figure out how to run the football between now and Thursday when the Bills are in town. And this offense, again, it was enough on a day where they could have beat only the team they were playing. And in large part, that's thanks to the defense. The scary part is I think the defense's performance was probably a performance that was only beating a few teams across the league because of what Cam Ward and the Titans did to kind of muck it up. And then that drive where the I mean, to have a 3rd and 16, get erased on a big just effort throw from Cam Ward, that wasn't good. To have another quarterback take off for a huge gain out of the pocket, like that's not good. You've seen that time and time again against this defense. Like there's little cracks in this thing. And I think DeMeco Ryans gets annoyed when they get talked about as the top defense and this and that. And
he does.
And statistically they are. I get it. I understand that aspect of it. But man, you needed them to just bow up and finish the game yesterday, and they did not do it. You needed Davis Mills to hit a 3rd and 16, and you needed a backup kicker to finish off the Tennessee Titans when the defense had a chance to really the Titans.
Look, like it's just watching, and again, I equate it to having 2 kids. And Sean, I know all yours were in honors classes and Harvard and all that shit, but like, so you have one kid who's on the honor roll, and then you have one kid who if they pass, then good job for them, and then go to community college and try and get into a college. The defense right now is that honor student, and it might not be fair. I'm not sitting here saying they suck, but I am saying like they right now, like based on what they've played, there are just warning signs that there might be some issues. Like I keep hearing best defense in the league. Okay, well, I don't know about that. I don't know if like the best defense in the league lets Baker Mayfield run on 4th and 12 and end the game. I don't know if the best defense in the league lets the Tennessee Titans go down to the 5-yard line on 3rd and 16 and have a chance to perhaps win the game. I don't know if the best defense in the league leads the league in missed tackle percentage. Like there are signs there that yes, this is a really good defense. I'm not saying they're going to be terrible, but the stat that I saw that they kept showing was teams that lead the league in scoring defense, they always make the playoffs. And I'm like, I don't think they've had the tough part of their schedule yet. Like I don't think we've really seen that. So I think the biggest challenge is ahead for this defense. And I just think there's some warning signs that, hey, look out whenever, Daniel Jones twice or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes are able to kind of scramble, because they're pretty good at it. They're going to do it consistently. So it's a little bit concerning because they have to be so good.
They've let quarterbacks leak out at the end of games, each of the last 3 games. Bo Nix to set up the game-winning field goal. Trevor Lawrence, if they don't recover from that and make a couple plays in that, Trevor Lawrence leaks out and gets a big gain with his legs. And then Cam Ward, who has no business leaking out and getting plays like that, gets a big 20-yard gain. You get a hands in the face from Danico Autry, and that sets up the drive with the touchdown there. Eventually, what's Josh Allen going to do? That's the big concern to me with this game. And I think the other thing is, for a defense that's considered within the 32 teams in 2025 that we're talking, maybe not all-time elite, obviously, compared to truly elite historic defenses, but I think the Texans defense within the context of this season is viewed as one of the elite defenses. They don't get quarterbacks on the ground a whole lot. They don't get a lot of sacks. They get pressure, and they get a lot of those advanced stats pressures and things like that. But for a team that looks like, with snap to snap on the passes, it looks like there should be more havoc going on in the pocket. They sure do let a lot of quarterbacks get comfortable in the pocket and throw the football. Like yesterday, they didn't have a sack until the 4th quarter yesterday against the quarterback who's been sacked 38 times going into that game.
Their ability to get home on a blitz is so underwhelming too.
Yes,
like they will send extra bodies, and then it just turns into an amoeba of not getting to the quarterback. Like it's wild how bad they are blitzing.
They did dial up a corner blitz yesterday. Will Anderson got there first, but they brought Lassiter from on the inside. It looked like he might have gotten home on the strip sack. But yeah, I mean, when I listen, I like to party, so I listen to like opposing press conferences, and like you hear it, and it's not an insult. They're not being assholes, but Sean Payton says it, Bo Nix says it, Trevor Lawrence says it, everyone says it. They don't do a lot. It's not confusing, but they do it well. And I don't like, I guess that's great, but like it's also good to confuse quarterbacks every once in a while. Like it's a complete opposite of like a Brian Flores defense or something like that. Like it's that it'll be interesting to see how it starts. And obviously DeMeco has history with Josh Allen, good recent history. So that'll be a good starting point for for the defense, and it'll be a good challenge, regardless of what we think of Buffalo.
Yeah, so much what I keep thinking about this, particularly in this game with this defense, but that bend not break, like it irks my spirit, and I have to try and like calm myself how much they seed the flats. And for like in a game like that, or even when you're trying to get home, when you're sending that blitz, it's like it feels like on the back end you should also make it so that quick, easy answer to the blitz is not there, except it seems like it's there frequently. It almost feels like a fallacy in what they're doing. Now, I'm not here to tell you that I know better defense than them dudes coaching over there. So I'd be very hard pressed to get to that place. However, like I keep looking at it and I go, that feels like it doesn't make sense in the moments that they're there. Again, maybe that's just, we're going to see if this rookie quarterback is going to continue to make the right decisions time and time again. And I hear you on that. But again, it feels like you need to kind of tighten this up. And back to what you were saying, Landry, when it comes to like they don't do a lot, it's because the idea is, hey, let's keep it simple and free this defense up and free the players to be the best versions of themselves. What happens if you're dealing with injuries and you don't have the best versions of players on the field? Like, I think that's a question that we should ask ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And the other thing is, like, it's a weird defense because on the outside you feel like they're really elite, but for some reason from the middle, like if you just let me go from D tackle, linebacker, safeties, I feel like it's like you can kind of do some things with this defense. It's a weird feel. It's a good defense. They do have guys who can completely win games, like at those positions, but it will be interesting. And I do think Stutz made a really good point that D'Amico almost gets offended when you say that this is the best defense in the league. Like it's almost like he does not believe that, or he just holds them to like a really high standard, but it doesn't seem like he buys it.
What's the biggest thing you guys think they need? And this is obviously a 2026 question more than a 2025, but the nucleus of this defense is going to be back next year. There's no big free agents on this team or anything like that. If they were to go from here to here and become truly elite, like whether it's through the draft or free agency, what would you guys go get for this team to make it a truly elite defense?
Are they still doing the cloning thing? Can we get Tom Brady to clone a Fred Warner?
Fred Warner and a Golden Shepherd. Yes. Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing that makes this defense go, is a middle linebacker that can absolutely, and you're starting to see a little bit of decline out of Azeez.
I agree. And my concern with Azeez is he's going to get a Goombawale because of how much D'Amico likes. Now, obviously a higher scale, but I could see them holding on too long and not churning that position. But I think they need a play, like an extreme badass DT and maybe a linebacker. And that's on top of all that they need on offense. But I think the middle of that defense is what they probably need.
Yeah, I'd love a 3-down fat guy in the middle of that defensive line that doesn't have to rotate or come off the field and just throw, somebody that you feel good about leaving out there for the whole time and putting maybe somebody different next to him the whole time. And I think they could figure it out at safety. I don't think there needs to be any big investment, but yeah, they could definitely use some more linebacker help too. And that's, Henry To'o's had some really rough moments. EJ Speed's a Band-Aid at that position. There's no like up and coming young guy that you're just like, he just needs a year of seasoning. There's none of that. Like, it's Azeez, it's Henry, it's probably another free agent. And that's kind of what they're going to roll with at linebacker, unless they get really lucky with how they operate next offseason. But
yeah.
And what's sad is it feels like that they were holding out hope that Christian Harris would actually be the Christian Harris that it felt like he was going to become. Like, this feels like I can't even be too mad at them, because the expectation was, who is the uber athletic dude that seems like he can come up and hit as well? Christian Harris was supposed to be that.
Yeah, the 2023 version of Christian Harris does not exist.
Nope.
Because if he does exist and he's not playing, then I think it's malpractice, and I don't think that they would practice malpractice on that side of the rock. So I think whatever the injury was, calf, whatever, Christian Harris, I don't think he's as athletic as he once was, and that guy does not exist.
That's sad. That's so sad. He was so good. He had the pick six against Cleveland, and then it was a game where the next game was one where the Texans lost by 24 points, but he was their best defensive player in that game. That's so sad, man, with Christian Harris. All right, Cody, you want to get the people up to speed on Prize Picks here? Because we were talking about the Bills defense a little bit earlier, and I started to get super excited about some of the more thans that I'm going to throw down on Thursday this week.
All right, so Prize Picks, it's very easy. It's daily fantasy. You're making a couple predictions, more or less, on various stats, and you put them all together in an entry, and you can multiply your money. Use the code Texans when you get signed up, and you're going to play your first $5 and get $50 instantly in a credit to your account. It's very easy. It's very fun, and we're going to show you how it looks on Prize Picks right now. I mean, just look how easy it is. More or less, you can pick the different statistical categories, and they've got tons of sports. You're a hockey guy, you're a soccer guy, you're a basketball guy, but we love the pigskin here when we're doing Prize Picks. Gentlemen, I'll cede the floor to any of you. Who wants to go first, putting in a Prize Pick entry for this Thursday night game?
I'll go first. Buffalo has a horrible, horrible run defense, and I think the Texans are going to try to run the football. And I think some of these numbers on rushing yards, you don't even need explosive plays. You just need the want to run the football. Nick Chubb, his baseline number is 20.5 rushing yards in this game. I'm going to pump this thing up and get a nice little red goblin going there where you get a bigger payout. I'm going to go more than 29.5 rushing yards.
To go 50. I was saying, let's just rip the ticket up.
What?
He thought you were going 50.
I thought you were going 50. I was like, let's just rip this ticket up.
No.
You can go.
You think they lean into the Nick Chubb of it all? It feels like
I can go 49.5, fellas. Do we want to make a few G's or
you
what?
sicko.
No, I'm going to go more than 29.5 yards with Nick Chubb on the grind. And I think especially too the way like Woody Marks, I think this coaching staff has this trigger thing going on where if the rookies show any sort of signs of weakness or whatever, they're going to at least go back a little bit to the veteran guys. So I think Nick Chubb's going to get 8 to 10 touches in this game, especially because it's a bad run defense. And if it's a close game in the fourth quarter, I think they're going to try to run the football. So we'll go more than 29.5 Nick Chubb.
Okay. I'm going to go more than Davis Mills passing yards. Let's keep this going. The 217, 214 is a nice area for Mills. So I'll go with the over in the passing yards. I think he's done a good job throwing the ball. I think they're going to need more points. I don't think you're going to be able to sit on your hands in this one. I'm going to go with Davis Mills over 217.5.
All right, Cody, can I ask you for a question? Can I ask you to look at receiving yards real quick? Because I would like to see the numbers on a couple of guys right quick. And yeah, see that James Cook 15.5. I am absolutely taking the more than there. I feel like the Texans will do a big deal trying to like stop the run, especially on Josh Allen. And I feel like that very much opens them to the possibility of here's a dump out, here's something like that can go for big yardage, especially with missed tackles that come. I feel like you can get that on one fell swoop, unfortunately.
I like Jaden Higgins in this one. He's been settling in nicely and had 2 really good performances in a row. He said today, quarterback trusts me. Well, I believe we're going to get a Davis Mills performance here, getting Jaden Higgins involved. So more are for Jaden Higgins, more for James Cook, more for Davis Mills, and Shawnee with the Goblin, more for
Goblin. Yes,
Nick
the
Chubb.
Goblin.
Again, we'll put this on the community page. If you missed this, you can catch it this week and you can play along with us. And when you get signed up, use that code Texans when you get signed up to play your first 5 and get $50 in free lineups headed your way with our friends at Prize Picks.
I look forward to losing us this ticket, fellas.
Do you think who's going to lose the ticket for us? Is it me?
It's going to be just they do not drop the ball down to James Cook. Like I set up a very specific situation for this to cash. Like that's the way that I set this
We're
up.
a team.
It's not your fault. It's their fault because it's been a weird development where his skill coming out of college was, well, can he be an every down back? And he's a really good receiver. We know that. And then all of a sudden he becomes like, he proves that he can run the ball. And they're like, well, forget that super skill that he had. They don't use him as much as they probably should in the past game, especially for how desperate they seem to be at receiver.
It's such a funny team because as you look across the NFL and there's a lot of teams that feel like they should be significantly better than they are. Just all the coaching staff there feels like I don't know why they're trying so hard to be smarter than they are.
Happens.
Yeah.
All right, boys. So we got our Prize Picks lineup in. Promo code Texans, $50 in free lineups when you just drop a $5. You don't even need to win the $5 lineup. You get the $50 into your account automatically with Prize Picks. It's great. All right. So CJ Stroud's status in this game. I feel like the fact that we got a bunch of Davis Mills more thans and less thans on Prize Picks kind of tells the whole story with CJ Stroud this week. And then the short week is very problematic if you want CJ Stroud to play in this game. So I guess the first question is we are conceding this is a Davis Mills game, right, guys? I mean, this is what it's feeling like right now.
Yes,
Okay.
it definitely feels that way. It's it doesn't feel. I don't feel like overly different about it if CJ were coming back. And I mean, we would CJ be CJ if he came back. Last time he faced the Bills was one of his better recent games, but we don't know that. Davis Mills, I guess, has quote rhythm. So yeah, I do think it's
in the general sense.
I mean, just I guess they're winning games and he's come from behind victories, whatever. I mean, it's just, yeah. Davis Mills. Yeah.
Yeah. I real quick. I mean, I will say this just real quick about Davis Mills. And and this is going to sound weird, but after watching Shedeur Sanders on Sunday and after reading, I think it was Luke McCown, Josh McCown's brother, had a long post about how little activity rookie and young quarterbacks get in practice going into this game against Buffalo, which, make no mistake, this is a game the Texans need to win. The same way they've needed to win these last two. They've got 3 games coming up where they pretty much have to win 2 of them to keep their playoff hopes afloat, just to keep them above a line where we're talking about no margin for error anymore. Davis Mills is more valuable in this game than CJ Stroud was in any of the games that he started this year, because the value of quarterbacks in the NFL, at least in the betting community, is based on what the delta is between that quarterback and the guy that comes in for him. And if Graham Mertz has to come into any of these games, the Texans season is fucked. And I've been to a single practice where I've watched Graham Mertz practice. I'm just saying, like, based on all the things that, for whatever reason now, I feel like because of Shedeur Sanders, we've gotten more grasp on what 5th-round rookies do in practice every day than we've ever had before. And it sounds like they don't get shit for reps or anything like that. They're just running practice squad. If Davis Mills goes down, the season's over. Whereas if CJ Stroud were to go down, at least you still got Davis Mills to come into the game, So that's my biggest concern is now, you're on your backup quarterback, and the third guy now is not Case Keenum anymore. The third guy is Graham Mertz. And so you're walking a tight one big hit and the season's over.
Yeah, he can't. I don't think Mertz can even run this offense. Like, this offense is so very intensive on that quarterback being able to read and react to what's happening out there. And I'll say this, I don't know why Florida went and tried to acquire a Wisconsin quarterback. If there's one thing that I've seen, is the quarterback of Wisconsin is not to be trusted. And so more power to Graham Mertz. I hope that he runs that scout team really well. I don't want to see him anywhere in football.
Hey, you guys lay off Graham Mertz, all right?
Never.
You guys lay off Graham Mertz, even though he could have been a running back instead of a backup quarterback. And, like, I don't know, the guy that the Bears have.
I knew Cody would like this.
Yeah, like a 7th-round pick out of Rutgers, who's the Bears, like lead back now because he's taking over for DeAndre Swift. But no, you had to have a backup quarterback. Look, there exists a very tiny, minute possibility for it to be Davis Mills until I'm guessing / hoping D'Amico Ryans walks to the podium tomorrow and officially rules out CJ Stroud, not because of anything that they're in control of, but because of the concussion protocol.
Right.
Like yes, CJ Stroud in theory could practice tomorrow. And yes, in theory, he could have a individual workout that is simulated like a practice on Wednesday and play Thursday. Nobody does that. It's available in the protocol. No teams do that. Certainly not at quarterback. And then you're thinking about a guy coming in with one practice in the week, a light practice at that, and he's got to go face the Bills. They're not going to do that, so it's Davis Mills' time. And, hey, I thought there were some things about Mills' game that were not good in the first game that he started that were a little bit better in the second game. Maybe they're going to be even a little bit better here in this third start that he's going to have. I thought he was a little bit more accurate. You didn't see as many high throws. You didn't see as many, oh, shit, he almost threw it to that guy. You didn't see any of that against the Titans. It's going to be tougher against the Bills. They're a better defense. I mean, it's not the Titans' defense, but they're not an amazing defense either. So let's see what they could do with Davis Mills. And then we can have all the discussions about what if this and what if that. after Davis Mills takes care of business. Because if he doesn't take care of business, then we don't have to have any of those discussions.
What do we? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's about to ask what discussions are we going to have? Like,
no, I was just going to say, what do we make of the fact that they stopped converting third down entirely in that game against the Titans?
Yeah,
they couldn't run the ball.
But I quit trying. Like you know who the guys are before you face them. Like I don't understand it. Like I really don't. Like, I don't get it. Like it's like why are you even? Why does this? This is the second straight year they faced the Titans and they've been like, oh, we thought we could run the ball. Why did you think that? Like Jeffrey Simmons and Sweat, when they're healthy, you're not going to run the ball on them. Like we know that. Even the offensive line. Jared Patterson's a really good. Jared Patterson is a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. Okay, that's his strength. He's not a run blocker.
Yeah,
not a run blocker. Titus Howard's a tackle. You move him inside to guard. He's not really a run blocker. Like it's pass blocking. So why do they think they can run the ball against the Titans for some reason? Like every time they face them, they think they can do it. Last year they got caught slipping. This year they escaped with the dub, but they feel like it's like they think that they can run the ball against the Titans. It's like, why would you think that?
Yeah, that's a bad approach. And Reggie, a note about your third downs: 31% on third downs in this game. They're lowest in a victory this year. You're not converting 31% against most teams and beating them. You just happen to play the Tennessee Titans.
Yep. Let me ask you guys this. When it comes to, and I think it seems like we're all in agreement, CJ's probably not going to play in this game. So let's talk Davis for a second. Are there areas, especially after watching the last two games, are there areas that you actually feel better about with Davis Mills at quarterback than you do right now with CJ Stroud?
Yeah, 100%. Yes. Like 100%. I think look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some expert on it, but it does seem like there's better communication before the snap. I'm sorry. Like there's a number of times where I see Davis Mills say, we're good. He's pointing to the right spot and the protection seems better. I think he does a good job. A lot of his bad throws are to avoid sacks. I think he does a good job of avoiding sacks. Unless it's like the 4th and 2 play or the play on the next drive where it happens. I think he does a good job at that. I think he does a good job of letting his playmakers go up and make plays like Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins and just pinning it there. So yes, I do feel that CJ Stroud, and this is stuff that CJ has to improve on regardless, like before. So it's not like you're saying this and it's like something that CJ Stroud can't figure out. Like he can maybe figure it out, but yes, I do think there are some things that Davis Mills does, specifically giving his playmakers chance to get the ball, getting rid of the ball, and it does feel like there's better communication before when he's up there.
Yeah, I definitely second the giving the playmakers an opportunity. Just like, and I basically have continued talking about it. He just rips it, man. Like sometimes you just got to say, I could cuss. Fuck it. Nico right there. You know what I mean? Like just get the ball to him, man. And sometimes it feels like, and we've talked about this, CJ can be too beholden to the system in a way that Davis, at least even still within the system, goes, yeah, okay, but we need to get the ball over here in this moment.
Yeah.
I mean, the ability to just find Nico Collins and get him the football on a consistent basis is probably my favorite thing that Davis Mills does. He threw him the ball 15 times last week. And then yesterday threw him the ball 10 times, 9 completions, by the way. Yes. 9 completions on 10 targets.
Yes.
Good things happen. You throw the ball to Nico Collins. I'm glad that Mills and Collins and Kaylee all remembered that in the second half as Nico Collins kind of took over. And another thing that I Davis Mills does not freak out when there's a little bit of pressure. Like there's no escape out the back, try to make something happen. And he'll just kind of dirt a ball or get rid of it, as Landry said, with the throwaway. So I do appreciate that about Davis Mills, that, hey, like if you could pick up a couple of things from watching Mills, if you're CJ Stroud, Nico's always the guy. Just go find 12 and get him the ball. And then you don't have to freak out every time there's pressure.
No, it's crazy too, because you go back and look at CJ's numbers throwing the ball to Nico back in his rookie season in 2023, like what the passer rating was when he targeted Nico Collins, it was insanely high. It was like 120, 130, something like that. The passer rating throwing the ball to Nico Collins, and somewhere along the way, it probably amidst the amidst
I
the
think-
whole sea of CJ getting frazzled over the last year or so because of all the pressure on him with the bad offensive line play, somewhere lost in the wash has been his connection he's had with Nico Collins.
I think some of it was they tried to overcoach him a little bit. I
Yeah.
think some of it's been just getting unnerved by the lack of trust that he has in the 5 fat guys in front of him to block.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. My problem with that though, like if we're getting ahead of ourselves, but like my problem with that is I don't like, does that increase with having your second concussion? Like, I mean, like it's kind of like if we agree that he's frazzled, he doesn't have confidence, like does that perhaps?
Well, hopefully it knocked him back into 2023. Hopefully he time traveled. He woke up thinking it was
Okay.
2023.
Christ, man.
This is officially the worst neurology podcast ever going on right now.
Me and Brian Dayball stand in solidarity with the NFL
Jesus
concussion
Christ,
policy.
man.
Maybe it hit Control-Alt-Delete. Now his brain reset and he's all good. All right.
Look at this fine ball.
I feel terrible because I did the Concussion Foundation. I did their whole little media thing. I got accredited, and I'm on the podcast. We're out here just like, hey,
man,
knock the
now
screws
we're
back
dragging
in. Let's
Reggie
go.
down. Now we're dragging Reggie down in his charitable efforts. Reggie does a
man.
podcast with the 3 most ignorant neurology people of all time.
Great. Hey, I'm up here. I'm chilling.
There you go. There you go. Separate
2.
yourself.
I'll stand with Cody on his horrible take about brain trauma.
Regardless, I think we're all in agreement that I don't think we get to that place this week. And even if it was,
No.
I think one of the things that's encouraging for me, the Bills simultaneously don't get a lot of pressure and don't blitz. Now, of course, we've seen it this year where you've played a team that didn't blitz and all of a sudden, there go all the blitzes,
They
right?
blitz,
So that could be something that is a switch up, but their time to throw is incredibly high. Like in theory, Davis Mills should have a lot of time to be able to dissect and get the ball out.
Yeah. So what are we thinking about this Bills game, boys? Coming up on Thursday night. I know that the line opened at 3.5. I saw 4.5 earlier today, I know we were talking about, could CJ play? 4.5 feels like a Davis Mills is going to play in this football game line. The Bills favored by 4.5 in a stadium where Josh Allen had the worst game in his pro career, arguably, last season, going 9 for 30. What are we feeling about this game right now?
It's now 5.5, in case you're wondering.
It's up to 5.5. Okay, there you go.
All right, I'll just give you 2 groups and you tell me which one Josh Allen belongs in. Group A is Cam Ward times 2, Cooper Rush, Mac Jones, and Trevor Lawrence. Group B is Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix, and Sam Darnold. You put Josh Allen in Group A or Group B? I think the answer is B. So yeah. I don't think the Texans can beat Josh Allen for 2 straight years. If they do, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But I would have to hammer that 6 and then charge it to the game if they lost. So I am not picking the Texans to beat the Bills.
Neither am I. You're not going to get somebody to dissent in this place. Yeah, it's the same thing. How likely are you to get the same performance that you got from Josh Allen, where I vividly remember him just missing booty butt naked open receivers, right? Now, I understand not great receivers necessarily, but I just don't believe that he has that same game in the same way. And I am absolutely terrified about what he can do with his legs and what happens to this defense when they start getting into their heads that, we absolutely need to stop this, and what then pops open when they try and put their finger in one hole here and allow something else to open up. I know. I tried. I'm sorry.
I do appreciate the Texans' ability to ugly a game up. And when you look at where Buffalo has lost some of these games this year, when they do have losses, it's typically been because the game has turned into something really ugly and nasty. And the opportunity to ugly and nasty a game up is exponentially higher on Thursday Night Football, especially when you have to do the traveling. Yeah. And so it's like, sure, for what you would need to beat the Bills, you got to make it ugly, and they've got to travel on the short week to come to your place against a defense that had his number last year. Like, you can ugly it up. The problem is when it gets ugly in the game, the Texans are also a part of the ugliness, and they have trouble too. I just don't know how they're scoring enough points to beat the Bills in this one. And I understand the Bills, they gave up a bunch to Baker Mayfield and his crew, but that's a much better offense. They gave up a bunch to Mike McDaniel and company a couple weeks ago. Mike McDaniel runs an NFL offense, a modern NFL offense, not the early 2000s Patriots. So It's just I don't know how they're scoring enough points to beat the Buffalo Bills.
I will say, I do think that there's an opportunity for this team to actually run the ball in a way that makes the offense look better. I just am back in the place where I'm like, are we sure they can score when they get into the red zone?
Yeah, that's fair. I'll take the 5.5 though. I look, the Bills started the season, whatever it was, 4-1, 4-2, and they didn't beat anybody. There was a point in the season where the record of the teams they beat were 3-21. So I don't count any of that early part of the season as anything that should make the Texans scared of the Buffalo Bills or anything. And yeah, we're 2 weeks removed, not even 2 weeks removed from them losing to fucking Mike McDaniel 30-13. Like I just think they're super inconsistent, and I like that. That's not they're not a team I can count on to where I can count on them going into an environment, going on the road to Cody's point on a short week and saying, yeah, sure, 5.5 points. Here you go. Let's go.
I agree with that, but I will say this: I think Nick Caley gets scared when the lights are bright, and I just think if you look at the Seattle game where he was clearly scared, like that was Bill O'Brien pissed in his pants against the Chiefs, not having to play, and then you look at the Tampa Bay game after the start. I think that Nick Caley, I don't know if if it's just one of those things, but I do think when the lights are bright, I think the most important guy. I think we would agree. Like if we were listening to guys that had to have the performance of their season, like Nick Caley's probably in the top 3. Yeah. I do think when the lights get bright, I think he gets scared. I know he took exception with me using the word fear, but I think that he's fearful when the lights get bright.
You scared him. You scared him back into using the quarterback sneak.
Yeah, and then he stopped. I should just ask every week.
I don't think he's feared. I don't think he's fearful. In true, I am new to this fashion. I think he lacks object permanence. Like, I feel like when it's not directly in front of him, he forgets it exists.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Object permanence.
It's like when a baby, when you don't have it directly in front of them, they forget it exists. Sorry. All right.
No, I like it.
I thought it was good.
Reggie teaches me something every week.
I'm definitely gonna use it. Object. See, I know when you talk about hose, I just don't like.
And you know what? That's the more important thing, if we're going to be honest.
That's right. Hey, as long as we're talking about the Bills, one quick one out of the chat here from Doyle. They better have a spy on Allen the whole game. We got a call to the post-game show that was livid about the Texans not putting a spy on Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, and Cam Ward.
What was it? Was it Chris in Nashville?
No, it was not Chris. It was not Chris in Nashville, but I would say Josh Allen is as big, if not a bigger threat than all three of those guys. How do you think? You think there's that D'Amico's got some things here to make sure that Josh Allen to make sure he doesn't escape?
Who's the spy going to be? Is my question.
That was going to be my question. Is who would it be? Like,
are you going to spy him with Henry To'oTo'o?
Well, I don't even think it's going to be a real spy. I think it's just going to be a lot of zone. And then are they just going to dice you up 10 or 12 yards at a time?
Yeah.
This I will say, as far as like matchups and stuff, this is a pretty underwhelming wide receiver / pass catcher situation, with the exception of Cook. Obviously, Cook is phenomenal at what he does. But like that wide receiver room, not having Dalton Kincaid potentially, like that's a pretty underwhelming crew. So it might just be on Josh Allen's back to get this thing done.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has been the case large chunk of his tenure, if we're being honest.
Indeed. All right, boys. Well, this was fun as always. It sounds like if we were going around the horn on predictions, it sounds like everybody's got Bills in this one. I got Bills in a close one, but it sounds like Landry, maybe you and then maybe Reggie have them. I don't know if you guys have them covering the number or not.
Cody's creeping towards picking the Texans. Like he's getting there. I know this guy. Like he'll be there.
I know this guy.
Yeah. He'll be there by Wednesday. He's talking himself into it. He's not going to do it right now because he's got to talk himself into it, but he is getting there. He will be there. And I'll put the over under at 40 hours and I will hammer the under.
And then he'll be explaining himself at Spanky's on Friday.
That's right.
Over a whole pie right there.
Yeah.
Just explain. Yeah.
That's fat shaming right there, Cody. He didn't
No. He's going to share the pie with people, man. All right.
They damn sure ain't doing that.
The hell I'm not.
Even he was like, nah, big dog. I'll go Bills close. Like, I mean, the Texans have had a number of games that they've lost close outside of the embarrassment on Monday night.
5.5. Like that's a decent chunk right there.
I know Texans close.
Thursday night home game.
Yeah, today it's Bills by a touchdown.
Or
That's
Bills
what you
close,
got.
rather.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We got a super chat here before we get going.
Okay.
Joe Mama 7993.
Nice.
If the Texans beat the Bills, y'all got to go jump into Galveston like Hugh Jackson.
I'm down.
When he jumped in Lake Erie. What do you mean? Who hadn't jumped into Galveston?
Yeah, I have no problem going down to Galveston.
Galveston.
And jumping in the water.
Yeah, I've jumped in the water probably.
There's a lot of people that have jumped into it, but they're stupid.
Yeah,
Don't sound like such a damn Yankee and get in the damn water.
No,
Yeah.
I'll do it. If it means the Texans winning the game, I'll go jump into Galveston.
Let's do it.
That's fine.
All right,
It's a big game.
A Texans collective field trip to jump in the water.
To go
in
jump
Galveston.
into the brown water of Galveston. I'll do it. Yeah, fuck it. We gotta build this thing, man. Let's go.
drink some of the blue drink and then walk,
Yes.
walk
Out of the 8 ball?
I'm not driving down. Somebody else is driving down to Galveston.
Blue
I'm
drink.
gonna need,
blue
yeah.
drink at, the tequila one. They got the tequila one and the rum one at the spot. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, boys. Well, this was fun as always. You guys are going to be at Spanky's on Friday, right?
Spanky Sharpstown, 3:00 till whenever. It's gonna be fun. First time we're there the day after a game. So
That'll be good. That'll be good. The next time we do this will still be on Monday next week. So just for those wondering, because there's a Thursday game, we've adjusted the schedule at different points during the season when there's been a primetime game. Just makes sense for all of us. We'll be back on Monday, and it'll be a partial
Colts week.
just recap of whatever remnants are left over from this Bills game, hopefully good remnants, and then a look ahead to what will all of a sudden become the next most important game of the year, the game at Indianapolis.
Real quick, I wanted to get Sean's opinion on this. I think you root for the Colts this week against the Chiefs.
Correct.
You're not catching them in the division, so it'd be confusing, but you want the Colts to beat the Chiefs. Just get in the wild card, get rid of the division pipe dream. You want the Colts to beat the Chiefs. See, y'all didn't even hesitate.
You're not trying to get into the champagne room at this point. You're just trying to get in the club. That's it. That's all you're trying to do, man, is just get inside that velvet rope. So yes, the Colts are rapidly becoming our best friends, given what they're scared. They play the Jags twice coming up. They play the Chiefs, as you just said, Landry. There's at least one more game in there. Well, they've got two against the Texans, obviously. I know that I know they've got a much more difficult schedule, but yes, we're starting to reach that point in the schedule here where it's like, all right, for the first time in Texans history, it would appear that if they're going to be in the postseason, they're going to be going on the road to start the playoffs, not winning a ratchet ass AFC South. And I don't know if you guys have looked. I'm guessing you have, but to win less than 10 games, the Jags are going to have to lose to either one of two Titan games, the Jets or the Arizona Cardinals. Those four games are on their schedule.
They could do it.
Let Jacoby Brissett
They
play.
could do it. Yeah, no, they could. The NFL's weird, and Trevor Lawrence. That was the weirdest thing about yesterday. 35-6, the Jags won, and I hadn't seen how they'd won just because we're doing Texan stuff all day. And last night I get home and I open up the box score because I had seen these people on my timeline like, oh, where are the Trevor haters now? And I'm like, oh boy, he must have thrown for 4 touchdowns. 152 yards.
Dude,
that was tuned into ETN.
These fucking assholes.
They're losing their next game, and I think they got the Cardinals. The way they act after they won, Tony Baselli called it the biggest game in franchise history before, and I'm
Didn't they play in the AFC Championship game?
It's the least self-aware. Oh God.
Look
I
it up.
hate them.
The biggest. He literally said it's the biggest game in franchise history, and then they celebrated like that. They are losing to the Cardinals this week.
I love that.
No one showed Baselli that I laugh like that. I don't want those problems.
He's skinny now. You're fine. You can take him, Reggie. He's got a bad shoulder.
Put him in an arm bar.
Just work the shoulder. Yes, just work the shoulder. Right.
By the way, in the last 5 minutes, you mentioned the words ratchet and club, so I'm hoping that the hose pop out on Thursday night.
They'll be here. The hose will be there. The hose will be. We're setting the tone, baby.
All
right, we're done. We're out of time. We got to go watch some Monday Night Football. It's been a pleasure being with all of you. Thank you to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you jumping in. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Most importantly, tell a friend about the Texans Collective. If you see us on social, share it. We appreciate that. I'm Sean Pendergast. I'll be back on at 6 a.m. tomorrow on Sports Radio 610, as I am every day, Monday through Friday. Landry Locker, the locker room with Landry Locker. You can find. When are you next on doing the locker room, Landry?
10:30, man. 10:30.
10:30 tonight.
End of week recap, baby.
All right, good stuff. Reggie Atatula, 10 a.m. tomorrow in the Loop. And then Cody, Houston football. When are you next on, Cody Stutes?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, doing your thing with the Houston Texans. So there you go.
He's picking him by 30.
And Cody and Landry have you covered on social for all the stuff in the locker room as well for the Texans. They're the best when it comes to getting thoughts from the players on open locker room. So give them a follow as well. Gentlemen, enjoyed it as always. We will see everybody here on the Texans Collective next Monday. Hopefully talking about a 6-5 Houston Texans team. For now, Cody, do your thing. End stream.